Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel. In this video, I'm going to be doing a versus comparison between the Anta KT6 and the Anta KT5. Of course, both of these shoes are Klay Thompson's. This is his 6th signature shoe and this is his 5th signature shoe. Of course, we're going to see which one is the mo better. So of course, both of these shoes retailed basically for the same exact price, 125 bucks for the KT6, 130 bucks for the KT5. But the KT5 is actually on sale right now on Famuji for like 105 bucks, which is kind of insane. KT6 obviously is a new shoe, so it's gonna go for a retail price. So if you guys do want to cop either of these shoes, I'll leave a link in the description box. But let's get it started off with the Tracciones. So on an indoor surface, I played with the KT5. The KT6 I was unable to. So the KT5 actually had a really good bite on the indoor court, but it did pick up dust. If you wiped off all that dust, you'd have a good stop again, but it would pick it up fairly quickly. So if you remembered to wipe and you wiped often, dust wasn't really a huge deal. On the outdoor court, they both have a very good bite. I would say they're both a little bit inconsistent on the outdoor court, which is kind of interesting, right? So the KT5 has a very good bite as well as the KT6, but on some weird days, I don't know what it was, but when I was playing in both of these shoes on the outdoor court, it would slide out just a little bit when I was doing like a super hard movement. So not just a little bit though, nothing terrible or anything, but because of that, it felt a little bit more inconsistent in both of the shoes on the outdoor court. So just keep that in mind. But like I said, overall it's pretty damn good. For durability though, the KT5 is way better. I don't know why, because you would think the KT6 would be pretty good as well. But actually the KT5 is way better. I played in the KT5 low also a lot on the outdoor court. There's really no wear at all. I mean, just a little bit, but definitely not as much as the KT6. The KT6 has a lot of wear. It's like kind of fraying off as well. And then where the high wear area is, basically where the ball of your foot is, on my shoe, especially on my right pair on the KT6, it's pretty much worn down all the way. If you're playing on an outdoor court, obviously the KT5 is better. Alright, as far as the heel to toe transition goes, they're both smooth. Nice rounded shape here in the heel, nice curved shape here in the forefoot. So the shape is nice, you get a nice rocking motion because of it. The KT6, good amount of forefoot flex as well as here in the KT5. So super smooth heel to toe transition for the both of them. One thing I like about the KT6 a little bit better though is that you do get like super smooth heel to toe transition, right? But you also have this carbon fiber midfoot shank plate. It's not full length, it's more just here in the midfoot, which is good. You don't want it going all the way here into the forefoot where it doesn't allow this forefoot flex, right? But it's long enough to where like you get like a nice rebound back and you feel that springiness. It feels nice. I don't know if it like actually improves anything like scientifically, like you're like 0.5 seconds faster or like improves your vertical or whatever, but just like how it feels, like personally for me, the KT6 feels a little bit more rigid and like springy, you know what I'm saying, as compared to the KT5 where, I mean, it has a little bit of a rebound, but not as much as a KT6, So there is a little bit of a difference there. As far as the cushioning setup goes, so the KT6 was a pretty big disappointment as far as like what I wanted or what I expected, but it's still pretty nice. The KT6 is using an Ulti Flash, basically full length, and it's right underneath your foot. It is a new cushion compound from Anta, and they wanted it to be more of like a faster rebound type of cushion right underneath your foot. And then of course here in the heel, if you guys can see this green part through this translucent outsole, and that's what they're calling Smart Sand. And they wanted that for impact protection, obviously if you do heel strikes and stuff like that. And Smart Sand is supposed to be like a absorbing type of cushion. And it's pretty nice as far as like the cushion underneath your foot. You can feel it. You can feel a little bit of compression. You can feel just a subtle bounce here in the heel as well as in the forefoot from the KT6. But absolutely no compression from the actual midsole because of all of this caging, right? I mean, it compresses a little bit here in the heel, as you guys can see from the clip, but it's still like not that much. And the KT5 definitely feels a lot better. The KT5, I would say, you don't feel the cushion like underneath your foot as much, So I guess that's a trade-off there, but you feel the actual midsole compressing a lot more because it's like not caged at all. So it all depends on what you like to feel. If you like to feel something like underneath your foot, obviously go with the KT6. If you want to feel the actual midsole compressing, go with the KT5. The overall like specs feel pretty much the same as far as like court feel, they feel pretty similar. You feel kind of high here in the heel, and then you feel pretty low here in the forefoot. I would say the KT5 feels just a tiny bit better as far as court feel goes, but it's very minor, and you can't really notice the difference unless you have both of the shoes on at the same time, you know. So it's not a huge difference there. Impact protection, I'd say they're both really good. So it's just that feeling underneath your foot that's kind of different. So obviously pick what you guys like to feel better. Alright, moving on to the materials, that's definitely a win for the KT5, and the KT5 did a good job as far as like keeping the material soft and comfortable, but also supportive. It's a very thin material here in the toe box area. I really don't like the shroud. I wish they wouldn't have it. And by the way, Famuji has this really cool Deadpool colorway, which doesn't have the shroud, which is dope. But anyways, just wanted to mention that because I thought it was kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, obviously this material is way better than this material here in the KT6. I mean, they're calling it their 3D hug technology, which is, it's just a plastic piece coming from here in the toe box, which is insane, caging the cushioning all the way, and then ending here on the medial side here in the heel for like a mountain. It's supposed to resemble mountains in the flow and nature, flow of water and stuff, which I love. It's a really cool design, but they went a little too much as for the 3D hug system. And like the materials, it's a synthetic material, and I mean, I don't mind it all too much because it is thin, it conforms to your foot somewhat well. But comparing it to the KT5, it's definitely not as good. The KT5 is so much softer, it feels just as supportive, it's more comfortable in the KT5. So yeah, the KT5 is better. They both have Achilles pillows. The KT5, I feel like the Achilles pillows aren't as thick as the KT6. The KT6 feels super nice, but you know, the KT5 still has it and it's still nice. And as for the tongue, I'd say the padding is around the same. So that feels nice and everything, but the overall material is way better in the KT5 in my opinion. Alright, moving on to the fit, I went true to size for both of the shoes and they both fit me extremely well. I would say the KT6 fits a lot more snug though as far as like the width goes, right? So in the KT6, here in the forefoot and also here in the midfoot, it's super duper snug. You know, the KT5 is a little bit wider, even though it's not like wide at all. It's just wider than the KT6 for the fit. And I don't know, I like both of them. I don't really know which one I would prefer because I do like the snug fit here in the KT6, but I also like the more relaxed fit. And it's not like there's crazy dead space or anything in the KT5. It's still like kind of narrow. So I mean, I like both of them. Just watch out for the KT6, it is a lot more snug, a lot more narrow. Lengthwise, true to size, you should be good to go in both of the shoes. And as far as the toe space goes, I would say they're both snug. The KT5 does stretch out because it is a knit material. The KT6 is not going to stretch out at all. It's going to stay snug and all that. So just be careful on that. And of course, both of these shoes need to have some type of strap or shroud or something, you know. So the KT5 has this weird shroud, which I don't like too much. It adds like bulk and all that. The KT6 just has this like simple strap here in the midfoot, which doesn't do all too much. It does a little bit for like containment in the midfoot, but it doesn't do that much. But I feel like it looks way better, and it does get out of the way when you're like, I guess, tying your shoes up. But the KT5 also does that, you know, kind of like stays down, so not a huge deal there. All right, moving on to support and lockdown, they're both very, very good. I mean, if you want the ultimate support, then the KT6 is awesome, right? It's too much, you know. You don't need this much support, you know what I'm saying? Like the KT5 is adequate enough, and I feel like no matter how big you are and no matter how much force you put on the shoe, the KT5 is still going to be good. The KT6, if you're like 1,000 pounds and you're putting like, I don't know, like a black hole's worth of force on the damn shoe, then yeah, obviously I still feel like the KT6 will be good enough for that, you know. But anyways, yeah, the 3D hug system in the KT6, it, like, you guys can see how much it cages you for lateral containment, so you're not gonna have any issues with that. The KT5, you know, you have the foam coming up here in the midfoot, you have an internal TPU heel counter, and here in the forefoot, as you guys can see, the rubber comes up a little bit as well. So lateral containment was really good in the KT5 too. And also ankle support is very, very good in both of the shoes. As you guys can see, they both come up a lot here in the ankle. And then for lateral stability, they're both good. Let's see which one is wider though. Let's see. They're both around the same width. The KT6 does have a little bit more of an outrigger as far as like the rubber protruding out. The KT5 not as much, but the overall base is just as wide as the KT6. So lateral stability was good in both of the shoes. And support and lockdown is not an issue ever at all in the KT line. So the KT5 and KT6, I would tie it up. They're both really good, but like I said, if you want crazy support, the KT6 is probably better. All right, as for the weight, they're both pretty damn heavy, like 15, right? Yeah, so 14.43 ounces for the KT6. The KT5 is 14.89, so it's actually a little bit heavier than the KT6, around 0.4 ounces. That probably has only to do with this stupid shroud thing, which I really don't like. But yeah, they both feel pretty damn heavy, not super bulky, you know, like comparing to like the 0.1, the 0.2, and I guess like the Dawn HU1 and stuff like that. You know, they both feel very streamlined to your foot, but you definitely feel like the overall weight when you're playing it, you know? So obviously if you like a lighter shoe, stay away from both of these. But the plus in both of them is that the support is really good, and you really don't have to worry about like feeling slow in the shoe. You feel fast, it's just the weight kind of like holds you down a little bit, you know? All right, moving on to the ventilation. They're both freaking hot. The KT6 especially, there's absolutely no ventilation, no airflow. The KT5 also, not a lot. I mean, it is a knit material, but there's no like ventilation holes throughout this entire upper. If you blow through it, like really not a lot of airflow. They're both pretty damn hot. So ventilation is not good in either of the shoes, and especially since you have this shroud. It's not something you can, you know, remove, which kind of sucks. But anyways, moving on to the aesthetics, the KT6 is a definite winner. I love the design of the KT6. I love like the nature aspect, the water flow, the mountains and stuff like that. The KT5, not a huge fan, and I also really don't like this duckbill here in the heel. I mean, I guess it grew on me a little bit, but I definitely think the KT6 looks a lot better. So tell us what you guys think looks better down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, I definitely think performance-wise, the KT5 is better. The durability of the traction is better. The performance is around the same. The cushion I like better in the KT5 because it compresses the actual midsole. I mean, I guess the KT6 is still pretty nice, but you know, it's like super caged, but like the feeling underneath your foot isn't like crazy, you know what I'm saying? And then the materials I like better in the KT5 and all that. So yeah, I'd have to say the KT5 is better. The KT6, they did too much with the 3D hug system. The cushion I feel like is actually pretty damn nice, but they overkilled it, you know? Like if you feel the Alti-Flash foam, like from the heel as well as like on the sides where it's exposed, it actually feels very soft and all that. So maybe they had to cage it, I don't really know. And also with the materials, it's not as nice as the KT5. So in my opinion, I feel like in most categories, in most aspects, the KT5 is better than the KT6. The only reason I would get the KT6 over the KT5 is because of the aesthetics. And I guess like better support kind of, but not even, because the KT5 has also really good support. So so yeah, there is my versus video. Again, if you guys want to cop either of these shoes, I'll leave a link in the description box. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.